Hello there, only one Kenobi here, only one. I want to do this video now before it's too late. So, this is going to be the follow-on from the series I did recently, which was the best of the 96. And what I did in that series was originally I did the best of the first 12, and I wanted to find the very best figures that we have in the modern line that are the same characters as the first 12 were, but the best modern day figures for them. For example, this VC 140 Stormtrooper is the best sculpt, more or less, that we've ever had for a Stormtrooper, so that replaces the original. And obviously the original Stormtrooper, he was in the 96, wasn't he? And I did that for all 96 characters. I did them in episodes of 12 characters per episode until we got to the 96. And to do that, I checked my faithful companion here. This is the faithful companion. But yes, this is the Kenner Toy Guide by Red 5 Designs. Brilliant book. It's massive as well, but obviously this first section here is basically all in order, starting from number 1, Luke Skywalker, all the way through to number 96, Yak Face. And it was brilliant. I just sort of had a look through here, took it episode by episode, and I went onto my shelves and I found the best figure for each of those characters. What I want to do now is I want to add to that series. I want to do the coda. Keep it rolling. I want to now do the best, the very best of the 96. So all the 96 figures I found, I want to find what was the best 12 of those 96 figures that I found, basically. And also I'm going to do another episode where I look at the worst of the 96. So obviously this only ties into my collection, but I have most figures anyway. Pretty much, apart from things like Warwick. I didn't have anything at all for Warwick. And what else? Oh, I finally got myself a Chief Chirper now, a modern day Chief Chirper. If you watch the series, you'll know that the Chief Chirper I had was the only figure I had was the 80s one, but now I've got, that one will be considered the best Chief Chirper modern day one anyway. So that's that. So I'm going to do this now. I'm going to have a look through here, see what I can find. I'm just going to flip through, make a decision or two, and see if I can remember which were the best of the best. It's going to be a hard choice because I'm only going to choose 12, and there's so many good figures. Some of them are TVC, some of them aren't TVC. Like there's a really good figure for Bosk. It's not in the TVC line. It was in the VTSC or the Vintage Saga Collection, whatever it is. So leave it with me. I'm going to cut there. I'm going to go and find what were the best, the very best. I mean, there's loads of great characters here. And so things like this, things like 9 Number I didn't even have loose, but that's a brilliant figure. But you know, I'll have to wait patiently until that comes out later in the year. Yeah, gonna cut there because I'm gonna just end up waffling, and I'm gonna show you what were the very best of that entire series you saw. The very best, ladies and gentlemen. Best 12 of the 96. Wow, I'm handheld now, and I've chosen my 12, but that was hard, and it was interesting. I'm going to blur it out. No spoilers. You might be able to see who is who there. But what I will talk about is some I've just kicked out of the pile. I want to talk to you about, well, he just got kicked out, man. Can you believe it? I've done a lot of talk about the AT-AT driver recently. I had to kick him out, but there's a reason why. But he still remains the best AT-AT driver you can get. But unfortunately, he didn't make the best 12 of the 96, and we'll come back to him in a minute. So I wanted you to be aware, you know, when I've done the series and I've brought out 2 figures because I couldn't make up my mind, or I felt obliged to show you more than one. Now this is an example of that. I mean, look at that Alec Guinness likeness, but that's the best soft goods one, and it's still a good likeness. But that's the thing, I'm torn with guys like this. I've got 2 favorites. You can't have 2 favorites. You've got to have one out and out winner. And I'm happy to say that of the figures I have here, for the first time ever, you're going to see 1 figure per character. And that brings me to Greedo. Now, this is a brilliant figure of Greedo. It's fantastic. It's almost faultless. But look at it. It's a custom, that. Hasbro have never released them like that. That's the fully articulated one with the hard goods jacket, which is way more screen accurate. And this was a custom I did for my Figure Hacks video a while ago. But he can't enter because he's not legitimate. I'd have to put the soft goods thing on him, and he looks terrible that way. Well, not terrible, but he doesn't look as good as that. He had to get kicked out. Oh, I feel terrible bumping him out, man. fact, have I got 12? Bear with me, just 1 minute while I count up. Oh,
Bruh.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. No, 12. He's the 12th. Sorry, bit of confusion there. I booted him out so I could save IG88. I had to keep IG88 in, and that's the whole final argument. He had to go because of articulation. Yes, he is the best AT-AT driver to date, but because of you, Hasbro, and we're still waiting, and you've never given us a fully articulated mega AT-AT driver, this guy had to go. But that's my point, because he doesn't have that extra added super articulations, super class, which this guy does. So I'm going to now show you my 12, and this is the first. They're going to be in no particular order, but I will put the details up. And also I will give you the number that they appear in the chronology. But that's the first. I'm going to whiz through these really quickly because I've shown you them all before and talked about them. But that IG88 from the Vintage Saga collection is brilliant. It has to be in there. And that leads us on nicely to Dengar. And it's so good that Hasbro, let's tip our hats to Hasbro here, they have done these bounty hunters justice, going right back to 2010. This is a phenomenal figure. It's Dengar. How could you leave this out of the best figure available? Out of all those 96, this has to be right up there. I mean, this would be up there with the best of all of 3 3/4 inch of all time, yet alone the 96. Look at him. And that brings us to Bosk. Need I say more about this figure? Fantastic. It really is good. It's maybe starting to look a bit tired, as in you can see certain areas where they could, improve it. Ball joints is one thing, but it's not the end of the world. But even maybe the texture of the skin, probably because I've seen such good aliens with great textured skin. I don't know what I mean by that, really. He looks like a slimy reptilian. Well, that's what you want, but I don't know. I did have a Bosk, one of these that his jaw broke. I think I super glued it and then sold it. But it was just crumbly or something, so it made me feel that maybe the figure was inferior or aged over time. And I don't know, let me know if you've had a Bosk that broke. Next, Boba Fett. Even though, as I said previously, I've had my issues with this figure, you can't beat how good it looks. That is phenomenal, isn't it? Absolutely brilliant. And they're rinsing that mold dry. Good for you, Hasbro. But give us Jango Fett soon. Look at that. Look at it. I've actually got it so it stands up nicely now. He kept toppling over for me, but I finally got him. Just looking good. Next, 3PO, as you saw in my recent series, top to flop, he was top of that, and I can't leave him out of this because look at him. This is such a good figure. Isn't that funny? I was talking about articulation before, and he got bumped out. But the thing about 3PO is he does as much articulation as you're going to need, really. It would be lovely if they could super articulate a vac metal figure, but I don't know if they can. Surprise us, Hasbro, and do it. But I don't know if it's possible or not, but still, that's that. He's in, and he makes up for 2 different 3POs or 2 different carbacks, really. So that would be the backpack one and then the original one. There you go. I had to have a Luke Skywalker in here, but unfortunately it's going to be this one. Any fans of Jedi Luke or Bespin Luke? Bespin Luke's got a lot of work to do, and the Jedi Luke, I was torn on it. Remember I showed you 2 figures in the series? I showed you the one that had the glove on that's from the Endor Capture, which I think is the best, really, personally, of the 2 for myself, because, he's got the black glove, and I prefer that look of him in the film and everything, but the other figure is phenomenal. But that's the thing, it's annoying, I'm torn. So with this one, at least it's an outright Luke I just think is amazing. And look at the sculpt is brilliant at this, and look at that, I'm trying to showcase how good the wrist articulation is and everything there, and it's probably the best pilot period figure that they've ever made. But this is the start of what could be brilliant in the future. That is Mark Hamill, man, is it not? The best I've ever seen before. And it's just a phenomenally... it's a great figure. It's not the best in the world. It's a really good Luke figure. Let's just leave it at that. No surprise that the Gamorrean Guard is in here. The Gamorrean Guard from the Caribbean. Fantastic. Talked about him a lot recently, so I won't waste your time. But if you are new to the channel or never heard me talking about this, drink him in, ladies and gentlemen. That has jumped off the screen. Well done, Hasbro. Brilliant. I'd like to see if they could update him and see what they could do with the soft goods, but I'm happy enough with that. Let's talk about this. Again, a lot of people agreed with me, except for Middle-aged Kiwi man collecting Star Wars toys. I mean, he did admit in a comment, he said that he thought this looked waxy, and I can understand what he's on about, but it turned out, it transpired, he hasn't ever owned this figure. And you've got to own it to understand it, but he's not waxy. He looks pale anyway, man, come on. But it's the hard goods of this figure that make it. It's a 5 POA figure, and everyone keeps saying to me, oh man, they're loving the kudos I'm giving to the 5 POA line. Look at that. I'm going to do a video. I think I'll do a top 5 POA figures ever or something like that. I will do it. I will find my favourite ever 5 POAs. But he is just the best. I just don't think the soft goods would work. It would be good if they could do it. I love soft goods as well. I have always been an advocate for soft goods on the Emperor, but unfortunately, this delivered before they could deliver with the other, if that makes sense. Was I ever going to leave Woof out of this? No chance. One of my favourite figures ever, and he's definitely right up in the top. He has to be. Mathematically, he was never going to be out of this list today. If you were a follower of the channel, you knew he was coming, and yes, Woof has made it. This is technically Klaatu on here, but he's not. He was wrongly called Klaatu. He is Woof, but he is that number on the original series of the Kenner line, but he is definitely a 96 figure. Brilliant figure, this. Get in now, ladies and gentlemen, while you can. They've reissued him. Go find him swinging on the pegs. I'm sure you'll see him in a Forbidden Planet at the time of the recording of this video. Next, Stormtrooper. It's just so good, this. I have to have this in. It's a brilliant Stormtrooper mold. Let's move on. I found a place in my heart for the Tusken Raider. I do like Tuskens. I do love Tuskens. But this was the outstanding one. I've been happy with very many that they have released over the years, including the Saga Collection one that was reissued in the Black Series. But when they brought this out, I thought to myself, you know, well done, Hasbro. You have, you know, really taken it to another level. I've heard stories about people who have had, is it heads have come off this, or I don't quite know what the problems have been, but it really does match the card back, the original one. The soft goods are brilliant. Can't beat the soft goods. Figure with soft goods is always good, man. Christ, not many of these have soft goods actually. Only this one, wow. I thought I'd chosen another one with soft goods, but it doesn't matter. So that's that. And let's just wrap this up, ladies and gentlemen, because I could waffle on forever. This had to be on there because it's outstanding. Opened this recently, as you know, we all got these not long ago. New product, but need I say more? Just drink in the picture, ladies and gentlemen. Look at it. Look at the head sculpt. It's a brilliant biker scout. I know he's in motion and he's on his bike, but on your bike, it's just phenomenal, that. And he's just one of those classics from back in the day. We all loved the Troopers, didn't we? As you can see, I have 2 Troopers. I nearly had 3. Where's he gone now? Where's my AT-AT driver gone? Sorry, pal. I do feel sorry for you, but hopefully Hasbro will do it one day, and then this list will change and you'll be in it. And somebody else will get bumped out. Maybe the Tusken or somebody will go. Who knows? Anyway, thank you for watching that, ladies and gentlemen. There's more to come. I'm going to do the worst of the 96 in my collection that I found in that series, and then more top to flop. I've got other list videos I want to do. I quite like doing list videos. They're nice. It's good to get your collection out and have a look and see what we have and see what the best is, the worst is, and what we ultimately need. Thank you for watching, ladies and gentlemen, one final time. This has been Only One Kenobi. Only one.